Okay, let's talk about chlorophyll. Is this stuff a legit health hero, or is it just another social media trend? We're gonna cut through the noise and find out.
I mean, if you've been online at all recently, you know what I'm talking about. You can't miss it. Influencers stirring this super vibrant green liquid into their water, promising all these amazing results. It definitely looks healthy, but what is actually going on here?
And that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? The claims are huge. We're talking miracle skin transformations, effortless weight loss, total body detox. It all sounds a little too good to be true.
So let's do this. Let's really dig in, follow the actual science, and figure out what's real and what's just hype.
First things first, we gotta be clear on what we're even talking about. Because, and this is important, the green liquid you buy in a bottle isn't exactly the same stuff that's inside a plant.
The word you need to know is chlorophyllin. See, natural chlorophyll from a plant is actually pretty unstable. It might not even survive your digestive system. So scientists created this version where they cleverly swap out the magnesium atom for a copper one. That little switch makes it water-soluble and way easier for our bodies to absorb.
And this chart shows that difference perfectly. On one side, you've got what's in a spinach leaf. On the other, what's in that little dropper bottle. And this is so crucial, because almost all of the scientific studies people talk about, they weren't done on the natural stuff. They were done on this lab-stabilized chlorophyllin.
All right, now that we know what we're actually dealing with, let's start tackling those huge health claims one by one and see what the evidence really says.
This is probably the #1 claim you see on TikTok and Instagram, right? Just drink some chlorophyll water and you'll get perfect, clear skin. But then you actually look at the scientific reviews, and right away, there's a lot of caution. Researchers are basically saying, this is interesting, but hold your horses. We are not there yet.
And get a load of this number, 10. That's how many people were in a key pilot study on acne. Another study on sun damage had the exact same tiny sample size. Now, were the results promising? Yeah, but 10 people is hardly definitive proof. It's a starting point for more research, not a final conclusion.
Okay, let's move on to the next major promise, that a few drops of this green stuff in your water will help you shed pounds.
And you guessed it, we see the same pattern. The scientific world is pretty clear that the evidence to back up these big weight loss claims, it just isn't there yet.
The main study everyone loves to point to for this claim involved just 38 women. They found that a supplement containing chlorophyll helped, yeah, but the researchers themselves weren't even sure if chlorophyll was the reason or if it was something else in that specific supplement.
Now this is by far the most serious claim, and it's one we need to be really careful with. Can this green pigment really help fight off something as serious as cancer?
Okay, so context here is everything. Yes, one study found it reduced tumor size in mice. And a super tiny study, I'm talking just 4 volunteers, suggested it might block a cancer-causing compound. But here's the thing, most of this research is in test tubes and animals, not people. What we do know for sure is that eating a diet full of leafy greens is linked to a lower cancer risk. And those greens are packed with natural chlorophyll, plus fiber, vitamins, the whole package. So the evidence for the big claims is pretty thin. But you might be thinking, well, what's the harm in trying it? Let's look at the important fine print, the potential side effects.
While it's generally considered safe, chlorophyllin isn't totally side effect free. The most common issues are digestive problems and, well, some pretty surprising changes in the color of your stool, which can be alarming if you're not expecting it. More importantly, we don't know its effects on pregnancy, and it can interact with certain medications. This is definitely a talk to your doctor first kind of thing.
This all brings us to a really practical question. If you do want the potential benefits of chlorophyll, what's the absolute best way to get it?
So before you spend your hard-earned money on a pricey supplement, just look at this. One single cup of raw spinach has about 24 milligrams of natural chlorophyll. A cup of parsley has almost 20. You can get a really significant dose from simple whole foods you can find anywhere.
Okay, we've looked at the science, we've looked at the claims, and we've looked at the natural alternatives. Let's pull this all together. What is the final verdict? This slide really just says it all, doesn't it? The hype promises a miracle cure-all in a bottle. The reality is, there's some interesting, promising research, but it is so early. Most of the wild claims you see online are simply not supported by strong studies in humans. And that really is the bottom line. Why take an isolated semi-synthetic compound when you can get the real thing right from a spinach leaf?
In whole foods, chlorophyll comes perfectly packaged with all the other good stuff, the fiber, the vitamins, the antioxidants that we absolutely know are good for us.
So we'll leave you with this one question to think about. Before you buy the supplement, have you tried just eating the salad? Because while the green water trend will probably fade, the science-backed benefits of leafy greens, well, those are here to stay.